They say it's the new Lion King. I guess that's why they put Lion King music at the beginning of a film set in Norway.
Frozen. It's a box office triumph. It's a runaway success. It's alright. I mean, yeah, it's alright. Only I think the characters are kind of flat and the motivations are rushed. She's naive and optimistic, and she's repressed and brooding. And I'm pretty sure they used the same model 3 times. Oh, hello, Your Majesty. I thought you were the older sister. No, really. Also, things aren't explained, even by fairy tale standards.
Born with the powers or cursed?
Born. And they're getting stronger.
Why does she have ice powers?
Your power will only grow.
No, but seriously, why does she have ice powers?
Fear will be your enemy.
No, but why does she have... Hey! Who gives a shit about that? Pretty white girls are sad. In 3D. And the music is kinda bad. Let's Build a Snowman tried way too hard to get me to feel something. And I had checked out by first time.
Don't know if I'm elated or gassy, but I'm somewhere in that zone. 'Cause for the first time in forever, I won't be alone.
Okay, if you felt so repressed, why didn't you try to run away like every other post-80s princess tried to do?
Who knew we owned 8,000 salad plates?
Your parents are dead! Everyone loves Let It Go, and so did I. Just not in the context of the movie. Oh man, you're so rejected. Guess that's what happens when your parents lock you up with no backup plan or confidant to help you out in case they buy it. I mean, didn't the Photoshop trolls tell Maurice LaMarche's dad that Elsa needed to train her abilities?
See? Conceal it.
Don't feel it.
Don't let it show.
Oh wait, I'm supposed to feel sad about this, aren't I? Too bad they didn't know anyone who knew a lot about magic who could have helped them.
Let it go, let it go.
Well, I guess the trolls were just too skittish around humans.
Cuties, I'm gonna keep you.
You know what would have been cool? If they had left young Elsa with the trolls to learn about magic. But then they died, so no one ever came back to get her, simultaneously justifying Elsa's abandonment issues and creating the mythical Snow Queen that lives in the mountains. But as it stands, I don't think she's earned a "screw you, I do what I want." Now, if she were alienated for her skin color, and then found out the government is made up of nothing but shallow, discriminating frauds that would exploit emotionally fragile people like her, that calls for a go fuck yourself song. You can totally tell Disney is super pissed they didn't come up with Wicked. They even got the same actress who played Alphaba to play Elsa. You know, what's her name? Ikea Pretzel. You see, Walt Disney's biggest regret was never getting to adapt The Wizard of Oz. It's gotten so bad, it's contaminated other projects that have been lost in limbo. Yes, the Snow Queen has had an extensive off-on production history at the studio, going back to the days of Disney himself. But no one was quite sure how to adapt it. You see, the original story literally starts with the devil and his magic mirror that turns beauty into ugliness, and how it was shattered when they tried to take it up to heaven and shine it on the face of God himself. Over time, the broken shards embedded themselves into the hearts and eyes of humans, so that all they could see of the world was ugliness. And that's just the prologue! And fans lost it when they heard Disney was finally going to be adapting it. And what's the first thing they saw?
Ooh, hello.
This is Man of Snow. Totally saved the picture for me. Yes, today we're talking about Olaf the Snowman and why he's absolutely genius.
I don't have a skull. Or bones.
My argument starts with Disney's Aladdin. Great movie, one of Disney's best. but I have a bit of a backhanded compliment for it. You see, sometimes people do something so well that it changes everything. Disney is no stranger to this, but sometimes you can do something so good that it ruins everything. I'm of course talking about Genie, the all-powerful, wisecracking servant of the lamp.
First, before we do the play, I'd like to talk about the very serious subject of schizophrenia. No, he doesn't. Shut up, let him talk!
I heard that most of Genie's jokes came directly from Robin Williams improving. After they got some key dialogue, they would just let him go on for hours and just pick out the best pieces.
You need more power, Jim.
Don't be afraid. You had it all along.
I never did it. I am not at fault.
And since Genie was this magical being, nothing was off limits in terms of what he could do. Long story short, Aladdin was a huge success and Genie was a huge part of that. It was the absolute perfect match of premise, actor, and animators.
Made you look.
The problem is that other studios and producers were in such a rush to replicate the success of Genie, they created the following criteria without really understanding why it worked in that one case. It's actually kind of creepy how accurate this one line has become.
But never duplicate. Duplicated. Rule number 1.
They need to be voiced by a prominent or well-known comedian. Robin Williams' name alone was such a huge draw that after that, studios made it a point to hire A-list actors, as to better promote the movie. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of headline actors that are also great voice actors. On the other hand, sometimes they're just performing as themselves, which is just what it is.
I know they have a Larry King in the human world, too.
It's a common name. Next week on Be Larry King.
No, I mean, he looks like you, and he has a show with suspenders and different colored dots behind him.
Next week on Be Larry
That
King.
old guy glasses, and there's quotes along the bottom from the guest you're watching, even though you just heard him.
Now, of course, there are exceptions and variations. After all, the same movie featured Gilbert Godfrey as a parrot.
It's absolutely criminal. That guy, he draws a picture of a bird, a bad picture of a bird at that. Not even a good. It doesn't even look like a bird. He draws a bird with teeth.
And speaking of birds, Disney originally wanted the vultures in the Jungle Book to be voiced by the Beatles themselves. So there are tons of examples about how animation has used or relied on celebrity draw way before Aladdin. But this was the first instance that made every executive cheer. Yes! This model works now, and it will always work forever!
Rule number 2.
The characters need to be fast-talking wisecrackers.
You smoke? Mind if I do?
This is not a new trait for comedic characters, but one that did get old really fast when compiled in such a short amount of time. To the point that the introduction of Donkey from Shrek has his owner selling him because he talks too much. This is probably a self-referential jab at the trend.
The position of annoying talking animal has already been taken.
And possibly at the fact that Eddie Murphy also voiced Mushu the Dragon in Mulan, which is criticized for being one of the first Genie clones.
All right, that's it. Dishonor. Dishonor on your whole family. Make a note of this. Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow. Rule number 3.
Pop culture references. No matter what the time period, no matter what the character's ability. Just put them in. Shove them in. Get them in there. Must I remind you of the rapping dog from the first animated Titanic movie? I think the two other biggest noteworthy offenders would be the dragons from Camelot, who partake in a Genie-esque song about getting rid of the other half, with modern inventions and celebrity impersonations. Rip-offs are pathetic. Oh, wait a second. Attempted self-mutilation. You know, for kids! What was I saying? Oh yeah, can't people come up with their own ideas? But I think the coup de grace would be the gargoyles from Hunchback. Yeah, the dragons had way more pop culture references in their song that distracted from the movie, but they were distracting from something I didn't really care about. And frankly, the animation in that section is the highlight of the movie. It actually looks like something Warner Brothers would have made. The gargoyles actually distract from a movie that I was really interested in, which is far worse. And throughout the film, they seem to be going for a they're all in his head thing. You know, like he's beautiful minding the shit out of this. Which I might have given them points for creativity, but that fell apart by the end.
And by and by, this wasn't limited to movies. Remember Flabber? the Elvis Liberace ghost from Beetleborgs.
I feel good.
Yellow. And the titular Ned's Newt.
Excellent!
Wilma! Hi, Betty.
Reminds me of the heady days of Sputnik.
I'd buy that for $1.
Everyone wanted a big blue magic sidekick. Well, almost everyone.
It's toned down over the years, however. The big thing now is lots of sidekicks that can do funny things, but you don't really have to worry about characters or motivation. They just kind of hang around and do cute shit. And if there is some sort of wacky sidekick, you'll more often than not find yourself saying, well, I didn't hate them as much as I thought I would. Or, he was very ignorable. However, we still kind of cringe every time we see these guys coming.
What's going on, baby girl?
Talking snails.
Actually, I'm a slug. No shell over here, baby. May I have my job back, please? Thank you.
It was especially bad with Olaf. Yeah, Disneyfication was always expected. I mean, the original Little Mermaid is really dark.
Take the dagger. Kill the prince so that you may once again become one of us.
Which makes that one episode of the Little Mermaid TV show with Hans Christian Andersen really weird. Because he saw this one mermaid and said to himself, yeah, I could see her slitting a prince's throat. And so she dissolved into sea foam and died. The end. But because Frozen cherry-picked so many tangents from the Snow Queen, they might as well not even have mentioned it was based off anything else. Like they did with other things. Seriously, the Snow Queen has tons of untapped material. A witch who seems nice, but erases the minds of children to keep them in her garden forever. A group of bandits led by a little girl. What the heck is her story? So introducing the movie to the public with Olaf was a huge red flag. But, surprisingly, most people admit they didn't find him that annoying. And I think that's because Olaf possesses this innocent charm that makes you way more receptive, or at least patient with him.
Hey, I'm Olaf and I like warm hugs!
And most of the jokes they came up with him are genuinely funny.
Does it look bad?
No, you hesitated. No, I didn't.
Hi, I'm Olaf and I like warm hugs. And for an extra flower, I'm also a love expert.
He's played by Josh Gad. Might not sound familiar, unless you remember him as Arnold Cunningham from Broadway's Book of Mormon. He's a stage actor, which means he could do two things, sing and project.
F you to Heavenly Father? Holy moly, I said it like 13 times!
Really refreshing they found a great talent that fits the role, instead of the usual reverse engineering popular personalities into the character.
I am Rekgar! I dare to be stupid!
Yeah, I'm crazy! What made you think I was sane?
The ice is gonna break!
So naturally, as comedic relief voiced by a talented singer, Olaf would be getting his own song. And that's when it happened. The realization about how brilliant Olaf is. The catalyst may be different from person to person, but we've all thought the same thing at one point or another. Oh my god, I am already sick of this character. I wish they'd just die! And Frozen says, okay.
Bees will buzz, kids will blow dandelion fuzz, and I'll be doing whatever snow does in summer.
He doesn't really understand the concept of heat and summer. And the one thing that he loves more than anything is the idea of summer, the magic that summer might be, even though he doesn't understand the consequences of what that means.
Winter's a good time to stay in and cuddle, but put me in summer and I'll be a happy snowman!
Yeah, if he fulfills his dream, he's dead. It's like having this obnoxious weirdo hanging around you, who confides in you that their lifelong dream is to be the world's fattest person, or breaking the records for the most cigarettes smoked in a month. You know that dream can only end in disaster.
I'm gonna tell him.
Don't you dare.
By that point, I was instantly fascinated by Olaf, and how his journey would end. I mean, I saw the exit a mile away, what with the person who could make winter and all. But it was still like, where are they going with this? To the point where I thought it would be him making a pivotal sacrifice in the movie. And they kind of touched on that.
Olaf, you're melting.
Some people are worth melting for.
But that aside, Olaf does serve a grander purpose in the narrative in terms of theming. Let It Go is getting all the attention, but really, Do You Want to Build a Snowman is the most important song in the film. Yeah, I know I said it was trying too hard, but the problem is it was trying way too hard, way too fast. Building that snowman is the last time Anna remembers having fun with Elsa. And it's also the last time Elsa didn't have to hide her abilities. And what's one of the first things she does when she starts defying gravity? Letting go? She makes a snowman. Even before Olaf starts moving, we can see that he symbolizes the connection between the two sisters. So much so that they identify him by name.
Olaf?
You built me. Remember that?
And you're alive?
Yeah, I think so.
We can even go a step further. Without even trying, Elsa creates this loyal, light-hearted optimist. Then the next time she makes a snow creature, it's this aggressive behemoth she uses to keep people away from her.
Put us down!
Go away.
So Olaf represents Elsa's pure nature, naivete, and how she can use her powers for good. While Olafzilla, not the evil, but the fear and aggression that she's been building up inside her for years. Even if that's not what they intended, it's still a fair visual metaphor, as opposed to the heavy-handed Photoshop trolls explaining the whole movie right up front. That's right, the wacky snowman. They found him just wandering in the woods. Bucktooth head 3 times bigger than his body is the most subtle and meaningful character in the movie. Okay, so I'm just going to address the elephant in the room. Am I pissed Frozen won the 2004 Emmy for Best Animated Picture? More pissed that half the voters didn't even bother watching the other nominees. Which not only reveals the dismissing attitude Hollywood still has towards the medium, but makes you wonder if the remaining votes just went to the bigger studio name, wider distribution, and the closest release date to the Oscars. But that can't be. I mean, what other movie shows a character overcoming their anxieties to help their family?
You'll never believe it. I found something new.
New! New's a big problem.
Stay inside the family kill circle. It wasn't bad.
New is always bad.
Well, it's important to show girls that not all significant relationships have to be romantic.
Comment tu t'appelles?
Huh? Ernest.
Moi, c'est Célestine.
Okay. Just because you're born different.
I know I can't be a pilot because of my eyesight. If I'm not a pilot, can I still design airplanes?
Damn it! Okay, what I do like about the movie. Number 1, the snow physics. This is the new standard in how to make realistic snow and ice. Which is weird because we already have 4 Ice Age movies. 2, a sibling relationship that doesn't involve jealousy. And 3, I heard this story was meant to be a metaphor for depression. And while it's not like we haven't seen characters like that before, it's taken more serious here. And if it gets people to identify with the characters and help them out, well, more power to them. But do I think it deserves an Oscar because of the writing? I'm leaning towards no. It's music? God, no. No, this movie wins an Oscar for Olaf, for revitalizing the comedic relief in animated movies, and managing to turn this, hallelujah, into this. You know, the more I think about it, Olaf reminds me more of characters like Carpet or Ray. So wait a minute. Character that wants to escape their environment, supportive male character with a dream, non-talking animal sidekick, and if Olaf isn't the annoying
I wanna stuff some chocolate in my face.
spouting inappropriate modern colloquialisms,
That was like a crazy trust exercise.
then who is?
Let's build a
So Olaf is kind of like a brother cousin, even though he's really a son of the two sisters.
The sky's awake.
Well, that's blue blood for you.